Good day. It's wonderful seeing you all again. Welcome. Welcome to meditation. I'm going to share my screen with you right now. Okay, there we go. All right, this is the first week in our fall meditations from the Village in Howard, and the theme this week is Behind the Mask, and I'm Fran Dummett. I am being sponsored by the Village in Howard, which is part of the Village to Village network with a group of people who are independently living, 55 years old and older. And we have educational, social, cultural, and service groups within our organization. There are 200 villages all throughout the United States, 42 states and DC, and 150 more are being in the planning at this point in time. The Village of Howard has at least 288 programs plus, and participating in the book club and haiku clubs. We have Bill Proctor talking on wrongful convictions next week. We're hosting a show called Good Morning Howard daily from 9 to 9:30, where you can talk and interact with us. Part of a mental health initiative that's being sponsored in Howard County, Maryland. So welcome all. Take a deep breath in and out and smile, as Thich Nhat Hanh says. Again, my name is Fran Dummett. I'm a retired middle and high school counselor. I've been an instructor of childbirth and menopause. I've been a meditation participant for about 13, 14 years and a facilitator the last 4. As I said, I've hosted Good Morning Howard, and last spring, I put on YouTube the meditations we did, about 12 of them, so I invite you to see them. I want to thank, at this point in time, my guide and mentors, Barbara Catlin and Kathy Latham, who've been with me many parts of my journey in life, and I would like to acknowledge them right now. This fall, in September, we have 5 meditations and their weekly themes. This week is Behind the Mask. Next week is The Art of Being Alone. The third week is To Sleep, Perchance to Dream, and I did part of that in Good Morning Howard, and I'm going to continue with that during the meditation. The fourth week is Self-Love, and the 5th week in September is It's Okay Not to Be Okay. Then in October, we have The Power of Mantras, EFT tapping meditations, and Autumn Blessings. I couldn't say the word autumnal, so it's going to be autumn. And again, we have Tuesdays and Thursday sessions. My meditation series, as you well know, from last spring was Intro to Meditation. Next theme was Mindfulness with Thich Nhat Hanh. We did a lot with Tara Brach and her radical acceptance and her rain theory. We did rituals and candles. We did labyrinth walking in Plum Village. We did a handful of quiet. In addition, we had nurturing ourselves through mindful eating, relaxing into aging, haikus plus others under quarantine, Adrift, the Healing Rainbow, and Roots and Wings. So I invite you to look at our YouTube channel to see some of those meditations. Want you to think right now, if you've been part of a meditation group before, or if you're new to meditation, what brought you here? Have you discovered any benefits of meditation that you've used? And maybe what types of meditations do people do? Think for a sec. And maybe you've come up with these things, because meditation is not just sitting there and go, that type of thing, which some of us do, but you can do meditation through walking and nature, art. Art can include drawing, poetry, writing, music. Perhaps you meditate through fishing and hiking and skiing, or bicycling, driving, and maybe eating, cooking, sewing, knitting, gardening. All these things are meditative practices. So just be aware if you haven't done it before. Well, right now, so we don't see our faces, you can click that little hash mark and we'll all disappear. Okay. And again, I have weekly themes going on in September and October of this year. Tuesdays at 7 p.m., Thursdays at 10 a.m. And you just need to sign up on the calendar to be part of them. We have the joke of the day. I know people, ready? You see the elderly people, seniors in school. Kids are returning to school after Corona. I found this other one this morning. Might be a little bit better. It's a young woman and her child, and she says to him, "This isn't the mask you wore to school this morning." And he says, "No, Mom, this is way cooler. I traded mine to Taylor, who traded with Hunter." I thought you'd appreciate that. Okay, right now I am going to mute your mics. And this is my format. I have a brief introduction about the theme of the week. Then I have a reading, and this reading's from Joyce Wyckoff, and she is amazing, and we'll share a little bit about her. She was found and friends with Tom Paine, who's a friend of mine, and was published in his Facebook group called Profundity Pond. We have music from the O'Neill brothers and silence. And if the silence is too long, you can opt out. But at the end of the silence, I do have a poem that I've written about the mask. So if you'd like to do that. And I do send up follow-up meditation memories on the readings that I have. So I wanted to tell you how I came up with the theme, or the name really, behind the mask. Of course, it's going on right now in the country, but it has special meaning to me. I was going a couple months ago to Frank's Nursery, right up the street, Waterloo Road, during those, senior hours, way early in the morning. Got up, looked around, it's beautiful. I got to the place. There were very few folks there. It was great. They were all masked. I felt safe. I felt respected. It was my happy place. I was getting some zinnias for my rain garden out front. Wanted some color. But all of a sudden, when I went back into the car, I was anxious and panicked, crying. My heart palpitated. I said, okay. So I went back home. I started weeding and planting those zinnias. But I realized those masks frightened me. So as we discussed last spring about Tara Brach and her radical acceptance, she has an acronym RAIN, which is first I recognized my fear every time, by the way, every time I went into the Giant or anywhere and there were masks. I felt safe, but yet I got in that car and I would shake. So I recognized the concern. Then she says, A, allow it to sit with it. So that's when I was sitting on my stoop, weeding, planting, and then investigate, where was it in my body? And it was in my gut, and my heart was going fast. In fact, I even cried. And then the nurturing part. And that for me is researching. I researched readings, find music, wrote and read poems that we're going to hear today, and then I write a meditation. So that's the way I deal with my anxiety, which maybe some of you might have during this time period too. So that's how we got the theme of Behind the Mask. Now, I was blessed to be able to find this poem that Joyce Wyckoff wrote. She is a friend of Tom Paine's, was in Mexico for a while, now is back in Las Vegas. And by the way, she loves Rumi, who I love too. But she is, if you look at her blog, which is www.joycewyckoff.com, she's a writer, photographer, digital artist, and she describes herself as omni-curious student of life. So look at her different photography and what she does with it. She's the most incredible writer, and she wrote Kumbaya, which is the poem I'll read at the end, and she's using to be part of her digital book, summarizing the first 3 months of the coronavirus pandemic. So I think you're really going to enjoy this poem. But I wanted to give you the history of Kumbaya. Kumbaya is an African-American spiritual from the Gula or Geechee people of South Carolina and the Georgia coast. In fact, they're even keeping part of that dialect today. Of course, we use Kumbaya in labor protests and folk mass, civil rights marches, and student uprisings. In fact, it's pidgin English. It's a prayerful plea to God, which means come by here, come by here. It's a soulful cry of divine intervention on behalf of the oppressed. Remember, Blacks are suffering under Jim Crow regime of lynch mobs and sharecropping at that time. Now there's still some concerns. In fact, remember in the 60s, those were they sang the songs, Kumbaya, at marches and sing-alongs. And I'm sad to say my children have never heard of hootenannies. I cannot believe it. Today, it's a rebirth at Occupy spots. And I can't believe there was an article about Kumbaya becoming such a bad thing. Oh, you're Kumbayaing. But for me, it's super positive. So let's take those 3 mindful breaths, non-judgmental. First thought, just scan those thoughts in your head. Second, check out your gut, see if it's tense or tight. Third, give yourself some compassion and kindness and smile. Nothing is more real than the mask we make to show each other. Do they love you or the mask you put on every day? Sometimes it's not the people who change, it's the mask that falls off. In a world where everyone wears a mask, it is a privilege to see a soul. Behind every mask, there is a face. And behind that is a story. Life is a masquerade. Step forward with courage. Show the world the real you. The irony of life is that those who wear masks often tell us more truths than those with open faces. Give the man a mask, and he'll become his true self. Masks reveal the shape of your soul and the state of the world. And in today's world, everyone wears a mask. I am a big fan of domino masks like Zorro or Robin or Black Panther. You could put on a domino mask on anything and it becomes a superhero. Put a domino mask on a milkman and he becomes like super milkman. You put on a mask, you are a superhero. Tom Paine, again, is a friend, retired gifted and talented teacher and director with gifted and talented in the Howard County Public Schools. He's a wonderful Facebook group of the Profundity Pond, where his friend Joyce Wyckoff shared her poem. He's a digital artist, incredible art that he has on pain relief artworks, a photographer, a musician, an artist, a deep thinker. So thank you, Tom, for turning me on to Joyce Wyckoff. So let us begin our time of reflection. Settle your body into a comfortable position. And let's take some deep breaths in and out. In and out. Let's move your head from the left to the right, forward and back. Relax your neck. Unclench your jaw. Relax your shoulders. Moving down to your arms, hands, fingers. And take some deep breaths in and out. Relax your chest, hips, moving down to your thighs and calves. Finally, relaxing your feet and toes. And I'd like to share right now, behind the mask.
Once upon a time, I existed as just pure light, the essence of peace, of spirit, the essence of love and bliss. And like every other soul on this planet, I came to this earth to play my part in the theater of life, to tell my story. I, the soul, am an actor. And just like actors, we souls wear many masks. It's easy to get buried in those masks. The masks of gender, of culture, of the roles we play, the responsibilities, the labels. These are all masks, but who am I behind the mask? I think right now of the way my culture has influenced my identity. And I imagine just for a moment that I drop that mask as if the influence of culture never happened. I completely let it dissolve as I become more simple. I think of the way my childhood memories have shaped the masks I wear, what they told me about who I was, and in this moment, I imagine that none of those memories ever happened. I drop that mask. Becoming quieter, I think of the masks of the roles I play, the pressures, the responsibilities, the duties I get caught up in. And for a moment I imagine there are no roles to play. I let all of these dissolve and imagine that culture, that memories, that roles never happened. Who am I beyond all these? I return to that simple space of peace. And just like nature is exquisitely beautiful but free of any drama, behind the masks, I too am exquisitely beautiful light, free of drama, free of stories. I exist as a pure, divine spirit, as beautiful as any landscape in nature, free. And though I can enjoy playing my roles, and though I know it's part of life, I need to be able to let go of these roles. Just like an actor who performs their part on the stage, if they were to do that all day long, without taking the costume off, they would become exhausted. So too, I need to enter into this space of pure being, this space of pure peace, of light, of love. Let me return to this state of freedom that exists behind the masks. And only then can I enjoy the theater of life and play my part without letting the masks define me.
Kumbaya by Joyce Wyckoff. I want my rose-colored glasses back. I want to stand in a circle and sing Kumbaya. I want to sit on the lap of the kindly grandfather God I once believed in. I want to look at the people around me and not wonder which is a pustule ready to burst. I want to behold our forefathers with reverence and gratitude and not see the long shadow trailing behind them. I want to believe in the truth-telling of doctors, lawyers, ministers, senators, and presidents. I want the dodo birds to waddle back to a green earth. I want to drink tea unmasked with my Pollyanna sisterhood. I want to see a beating heart on every sleeve. I want to hear the peaceful ripple of an untamed stream. I want discussions of color to be about lavender and rose. I want super glue for all the broken places. I want a world without children in cages. I want full bellies, warm hugs, and a belief in tomorrow. I want what I thought we had, but somehow let slip away. Oh Lord, Kumbaya. From Joyce Wyckoff, July 2020. Found through Tom Paine, The Profundity Pond. Now music. Gently start moving your body a little. Bring your attention to your fingers. Start moving them slowly, body part by body part. Carefully come out of the meditation. Breathing in for yourself, breathing out for the world. Breathe in compassion, breathe out joy. Take a full breath in and a long, deep breath out. Masks, my poem. Break of dawn, navigating through vacant roads with clear, cool air encircling my soul. Craving new greenery. Stores abundant with clerks. Sparse customers that early. Everyone wearing masks. Found my harmony. Found my harmony cultivating brightly colored flora while trimming overgrown undergrowth. In the deafening hush of early morn, life is good. I am at peace. Namaste. Masks have saved lives. Thank you for our time of reflection in week 1 of Behind the Mask. Next week, we're doing The Art of Being Alone. It's Tom Paine's work of liberty and hope. Namaste. Thank you very much for being with me this week, and we hope to see you next week. And thank you to Joyce Wyckoff and Tom Paine and the O'Neill brothers. Bye. Thank you.